Hi guys, I'm 456 and today I'm going to be showing you how to make custom skin models on Blockbench and putting them on Wii U. Now everything I have that is going to be used in the video, I'll have a link in the description to download. This right here is what I'm going to be recreating in today's video. So without further ado, let's go to Blockbench. So when you're on Blockbench, you should be acquainted with the screen saying recent and it has all your stuff on it. Now, I recommend using the geometry.json. I'll be in the description as mentioned previously, because if you load the default skin on like Blockbench, it just gives you this thing with rotations on it. And I personally don't like that. I mean, if you do, by all means, go ahead and use it, but I don't prefer that. When you open the geometry, you're acquainted with these three options. First one being the cape, Steve, and Alex. And the difference between the Steve and the Alex are the Alex one's arm is more slim than the Steve one. And in this particular case, I would be using the humanoid custom slim. This opens up the skin file. Now what you want to do is you want to import texture, which is down here. And this is where it begins. First by explaining what exactly skin has on it. So a default skin has arms, legs, a body, and all that stuff. But in addition to that, it has the second body layer, which is basically an inflated version of the head and body and all that. Just to, make it look better. As you can clearly see here, that's what is used. But the thing is if I were to make a model, I would not be able to make a custom model with the inflated body parts, as you cannot inflate anything. You can tell it's inflated on Blockbench because there's a 0.5 at the end, when normally it should be 0. For now, I'm going to get rid of these. All you do is just click on the little eye next to them when you select them, and it just makes them visible, and then you click it again and it opens it back up. Now I recommend keeping all the body parts into their designated body parts. Now first things first, we're going to go to the paint section right next to the edit. This opens up the UV texture editing thing, and basically you can scribble on it. Using these settings, you have to find the right color and whatnot. And you can either do one of two things. You can either edit it by clicking on it directly on the model, or you could use the UV and you can texture it that way. Now, it varies, I use both, when it's necessary. So you do what you want to do with that. And if you want to paint, you're going to have the paintbrush selected. Paint bucket is if you want to fill in a certain side of it with the same color, you just do that. If you want to erase something, you just, it erases stuff. Quite self-explanatory. If you want to get a specific hex color, or one of the colors used, just go over to that color and then you just click on it and it brings up the color on the palette. Shape thing basically fills in a square thing. You can change the color. I never really use this. If you want to use that, you can use that too. And the last thing is crop tool. Basically, you just hold down on, you know, the left button on your mouse, then you drag it. Now you want to select the cut button if you want to get rid of this, but if I were to, you know, keep it, I'd press the check mark, first one, or to cancel it, I'd press the cancel button, which to me, they have the same purpose. Maybe I'm not thinking about it correctly. Then this just flips it, you know, this way, that way, flip it upside down, or you can rotate the whole entire thing. But I am just gonna cut this all, and as you can see, it just gets rid of everything. Now one thing is you can't get the sides that well, or it doesn't show up. The button to cut it doesn't show up. So we do have to get rid of this manually. Now, before we get to texturing, one thing you can do is you can, if you want to make it HD, which I recommend if you're like, you know, just like adding HD touches up to like your regular 64x64 skin, I just texture the whole thing and modeling all that with the 64x64 first, and then add the HD thing, because then that's a lot less pixels you have to deal with, especially considering you're copying the same thing about a bunch of times. And how you'd make it HD is you'd right click the skin file and you go to resize. Keep this towards transparent, and from what I remember, the only two HD ones I remember by 128. And that sets the whole UV to that, which you still want this to be 64. It's just the pixels on the image itself. And if I get out of this and I select it back again, you can see there's more pixels to be used. But I am not going to be doing that in today's video. I don't really I only use HD when it's necessary. And also, I forgot to mention, there's also 512. I think that's the other one. But I'd be careful with that, because on Wii U, I think people have said that it crashes the game, especially when you have like a lot of boxes and stuff. So I'd be careful using that. But if you're just using the 64x64, let's get started with that. This is basically how I'm going to start this off here. I'm going to start off with the head. Alright, I am finished with what I'm doing. All I have to do is go and pull my head back. So when you're done here, and look around. If you want, you right click and you can screenshot the model and then share it with everyone you know and love. And that's what that is. That's what you do there. And so now it's time for the actual exportation part of this. First, before you do that, you want to go to File, Save As, and then save it to your desktop somewhere. And once you do that, you just save. The texture will save too, and now we can export it. Now, you can't export it using the file that we just saved. We have to make a JSON file. Now, before we make the JSON file, what you want to do is you want to click the root and you want to flip the whole thing upside down. And it's easy to know where to move the body. It's just you have to move the head so that it's touching the surface for this little square thing. And sometimes it's hard to tell with the hat on. See, it's not all the way there yet. So get the head down there, and then everything is in the right space. So now what you want to do is go into File, Export, and it's Export Bedrock Geometry, which turns it into a JSON. And then give it a name, and boom, you're done with that. Alright, so now I'm on my PC desktop. It normally shows up in your recent files. You just open it, and here's the files. Now, I got mine a bit mixed up. The body is the head, and the head is the body. So basically, you only copy the origin, and then the stuff afterwards. Copy. You don't need any of this other stuff. Basically, the name is what tells you what body part it is, which in this case I had a mix up. Then you want to open up this tool, link in the description. Have a big file with everything in it, which isn't that much. And then you paste it, and we're going to mark it as body. Now, or no, this is head, excuse me. It's confusing. And now you want to create a text file in presets. You want to go to the PCK Studio files, and if you don't already have one, you need to make a presets folder. Once you open it, you make a new text file, and then you open it up, and this is where we're going to load in the model from PCK Studio. You just paste it in here. And you don't want to have any of these words or these brackets in here. That's going to mess everything up. And you want to have it so that it's box, and then there's a colon. And then head, I think, yeah. And you want to have it spaced out like this. If you put ones after the numbers there, what that does basically is whenever you put on a helmet, it makes the body parts disappear, those specific ones, so that there's no like clipping or glitching when you put on armor. It's a nice little touch. Then you go to the head, which in this case would be the body. paste that in there, click body, copy, and then basically under there you paste it. And I don't need that. And that's basically it, because at least I think it is. That is basically it. You now want to put 2s after these, and that'll make the chest plate disappear. Or then make everything when the chest, when you put on the chest plate, it makes those disappear. Sometimes I can't talk. And then you want to save that. Now it's on to PCK Studio. Alright, and now we're on to the final segment, is actually putting the skin on Wii U. So now this part is where we add the model. First things first, you want to right click and click on Add Preset, and then find the thing you're looking for. It should be what you named it. In my case, it would be in the R's. Red Fairy, and you import it, and then you open it up, and there it is. And then you put 1 after it. So in total there should be 10 numbers there. And that basically mirrors the texture for that specific body part. And last but not least, we have to get the head overlay and the body overlay to show up while not having anything else to the other overlays. Now I could make a full video on the anims themselves, but I'm gonna need you to tell me in the comments if you want to see that video. If you want to see a video like that. The Vanellope Pun Sweet Skin that I did a while ago, and I recorded a video on that. It's the same in them. So just gonna copy that and put it here, and that should be it. We have everything accomplished here. The whole body part. Now there's only one last thing to do. First of all, we want to save it, and next but not least, or however the saying goes, is we're going to have to go into Minecraft and test out the skin. Okay, so I've loaded into Minecraft. It's oddly laggy. Sorry about the quality of the Minecraft footage. But here it is. Exactly how it was when we did it on Blockbench. And we're gonna put on armor. Get rid of everything on the head, everything on the body, and yeah, might want to fix that in the future. I'm not exactly sure how to get rid of armor parts just yet, but if you guys do, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to explain that in a future video. But this is the skin. Say it turned out pretty well. And yeah, that is to the end of today's episode. If you enjoyed it, like the video and share with everyone, because I know, you know, at least I don't remember there's any videos explaining how to do this. And if you don't understand anything, let me know in the comments, because I have a tendency to not make sense. I apologize for that, but, you know. But anyway, this has been the video. Stay tuned next time I might do another video explaining how to do the anim things. Until then, my name is 456 from Rone and Bomby. Well, I'm Rone from Rone and Bomby actually, but anyway, this is the end of the video, and yeah, bye.